Today I'm going to be recording a reaction video of sorts. It's my first reaction video. I'll be making a reaction to the old Tabit songs that I wrote way back then. This one I wrote in 2010, so it is very old. For those of you who don't know, Tabit is a guitar tablature program where you input numbers and you use MIDI information to play back music. I was in a couple metal bands back in the day. You may have heard of An Open-Ended Sky or Nomura. Those were my bands that I was in. And we would use Tabit to write a lot of our music. So I've compiled a bunch of albums that I've made over the years, and I haven't listened to them in a very long time, at least 5 or so years since I've heard this stuff. So it's definitely been a while. So I wanted to record my reactions of listening to this old stuff. Now, disclaimer, I did attempt a version of this video already, but the audio was all messed up and I didn't want to use that version to upload. So this first video, it won't be my first reaction. I did just get done listening to this album. But I will try and summarize everything that I said from my previous listen and hopefully have corrected my audio issue. So to correct that, I won't be speaking during the music while it's playing. You'll just hear the music and then you'll get my reaction afterward. All right. You may see me dancing a little bit in the bottom corner, but that's how it's going to work. So without further ado, let's get into this first Tabit song 102. Here we go. Okay, so that was the first one. You can hear that this is definitely some old 2010s screamo metalcore style. That's what was popular way back then, but you also hear a lot of the things that make my music unique to me. Things that I like to do a lot in my music are already starting to come out in this piece, like doing harmonies here, between instruments with the electric guitar and the strings, and these bass drops, and a lot of these kind of big grand choruses, like with these chord progressions. So a lot of that stuff are like the backbone of what I really like to do in music, of the things that I really love in music. So as you can tell, I was expressing myself, and I was trying to be as me as possible without any boundaries in writing this music. And I think that it came across within the lens of 2010 screamo metalcore, right? So, all right, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. And yeah, I forgot to mention before, the point of this series that I wanted to make for these reaction videos was, one, just to get all these songs out there. Otherwise, they're just sitting on a hard drive and no one ever heard them, which I think is a shame. You should share all your music. And then also, you're going to be able to hear my progression as a composer and as a songwriter from the beginning to the end of it. So it's a process that I'm really excited for, so I wanted to share it with you guys. Okay, this next one, 104. By the way, I think now is a good time to mention the naming convention here. Notice how we skipped over 101 and 103? Yeah, I lost those. So one thing about me is I was very bad at backing up a lot of my old projects. My old band members know that from all the stuff that we recorded. RIP, all that amazing stuff we recorded that never was released and I don't have anymore. And I'll never be able to remix our old albums. It's very sad. But yeah, I lost 103, 104. I also lost 106, 107. But I don't think I went up to 110 here. I just named them one as the first album and then the order in which that I wrote them. That's it. So I wrote this one second, and this one that I'm going to hear now, I wrote it fourth, but it might as well be the second one because it's the second track. Anyway, enough blabbering. This one's in D standard. Let's give this one a listen and see what this sounds like. Okay, that was a really fun one. A lot of cool stuff in that. D standard tuning, first of all, probably the only thing I ever wrote in D standard tuning ever. But this breakdown here is has made it into a Nomura, not a Nomura, an Open-Ended Sky song, I'm pretty sure. I remember we extracted that and used it, I think in, the song was called Halfway Home, which turned into Restless after they kicked me out. But hey, it is what it is. Yeah, and then there's some very obvious, like, you know, metalcore influences here. You know, with all that stuff. And then I started experimenting with, like, what, Lydian minor. I just looked up some exotic scales. And then there was this section in here that I found actually, like pretty good. And I think this right here, this was the highlight for me. I mean, come on, that would fit in on, like, the latest Bullet for My Valentine album or something like that. I think that right there was the first really mature songwriting I had in this whole process of making the Tabit albums. There's something about that that's actually pretty mature compositionally. Like, you have the counterpoint going on between this and this. The interesting rhythms, right? Very interesting rhythmically here, melodically, harmonically. Everything is kind of coming together there, and it sounds. I don't know. I remember being so proud of that when I first wrote it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that as well. Let's move on to the next one. 105. Here we go. Okay, that one was interesting. It started off generic as possible, like pretty much a Day to Remember, or like August Burns Red kind of style. And then as it got to the end, I think it got like progressively better and progressively more interesting. More guitar harmonies here, layering it with strings or synthesizer. But yeah, then it comes to this kind of big ending. Dun, dun, dun. You think you're over and it's done. Oh, boom, boom. And then it goes into a breakdown kind of here, but with keeping that energy up because you still have those sustained chords over it, or the acoustic guitar playing the arpeggio over it. And I don't know, I remember I recall I originally ended the song here, like this. And that would have been fine as an ending, but then throwing in this little arpeggio, I'm like, no, this needs to just continue just rocking for a little while longer. And so yeah, I did that through that extra breakdown at the end. Just realized this one is one of the only one that isn't timed. 3 minutes and 4 seconds. All right. So that's 105. Let's move on to the next one. Let's keep it rolling. We're skipping 106 and 107, and let's hear 108. All right. Looks like drop A flat tuning. Pretty short. All right, let's hear it. All right. Short, but that one was really fun, actually. There are some cool parts in that. I think this A flat tuning just really makes things nasty. Really, really cool sound. There's that part where, like, where is it? Somewhere towards the middle. Yeah, this, where you're like, the one guitar is like, and you got that nice heavy breakdown over that. I don't know. I felt like this whole thing was extremely satisfying to listen to, like right here. Like pretty simple in the grand scheme of things, but effective. Um, yeah. I really enjoyed that one. That was definitely better than I expected. I apologize if I'm like coming across not humble. Usually I am humble, but I haven't heard this stuff in such a long time, and it's so cool to go back and listen to this because this all came from me. Obviously, I was very excited about it when I wrote it back then. Um, so yeah, you're hearing like the raw excitement that I had 13 years ago when I wrote this. So yeah, let's move on. Let's get to the last one here. The last one is 109 in drop G. tuning. So let's see what we got here. All right. All right. I didn't dig that one at first. Drop G is so low that I just feel like that open G, you almost hear the fifth more than you hear the open G. You almost hear the D more. But yeah, G is just so low. But I guess I understand why I did it at the end, because it gets really slow and really brutal. So I guess that low tuning worked out. I could definitely see this going over well at one of the old fire halls or VFWs we used to play at. I could already picture the mosh pit for that one. All right, so if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for your interest in listening to my old Tabit music. It's only up from here. This was the first one that I ever made. This is the first album, so my music is at its most immature here. And I'm super excited to experience for myself the first time in such a long time hearing the growth as a musician. I know I remember being really proud of some of the ones in the later albums, and coming into this I did not know what to expect for the first one. I didn't remember much out of this first one. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. Bye-bye.